My husband Brian is incredibly driven. His move from a regional branch to the headquarters where I work seems fueled by a fervent desire to ascend the corporate ladder and amass wealth. Initially, this ambition made me wary of him. When we first met, Brian asked, "Linda, your father is connected to the company, right?" "Indeed, I work for the same company where my father serves as an executive." Having a relative in a position of power has led to me being perceived differently by both insiders and outsiders. However, time and again, I've proven my value through my skills and performance. Strangely, my assertive nature seems well suited for this environment. Despite my initial suspicions, Brian, with his charm and motivation, was a refreshing change from the typical office talkers. Collaborating with him was enjoyable. He was always proactive. Gradually, I found myself drawn to him. Brian proposed, declaring, "With you, Linda, I can give my all in both work and home. I believe we can make a great couple. Will you marry me?" My response was cautious. "Are you sure? I can become so absorbed in work that I may neglect you. We're both career-oriented, and our time at home may be less than conventional. But we trust each other, and we enjoy our moments together." Despite our reservations, we were happy. However, this spring brought an unexpected twist. Brian was to be transferred alone to another regional branch. He was deeply disappointed, and I felt it was unfair, considering we were newlyweds. But I heard it was a critical assignment that could lead to a promotion, and he should return to headquarters in about a year. Thanks to today's technology, we can video call via computer or smartphone. We spend less time together anyway, so managing feelings of loneliness and distance seemed possible. It's been about 3 months since Brian moved. We video call once or twice a week to catch up. The world is convenient now. With careful scheduling, we don't feel as lonely. During one call, I casually mentioned visiting him during summer vacation. Brian responded uncertainly, mentioning his non-stop workload. "It seems leading a project is exhausting." I trust my husband's words, yet I can't shake this lingering sadness. Suddenly, a thought creeps in about the interior of Brian's rented apartment, beyond what fate should determine. Perhaps he's too busy to clean properly, I initially rationalize. But as I glance at the tidy portion of the room visible on the screen, I'm struck by its unexpected neatness. It's impressive how he manages amidst his busy schedule. Just as I'm about to praise him for it, my eyes catch sight of an unfamiliar bag at the edge of the screen. I'm speechless. Clearly a woman's item, even someone like me, not particularly up to date with trends, recognizes it as a high-end brand. "Hey, what's that bag?" I ask, unable to ignore it. Brian glances over his shoulder quickly, his response a tad flustered. "Oh, it's a wedding anniversary gift. Since we don't get to see each other much, I wanted to give you something tangible," he explains. "I thought it would suit you. I ordered it online, so I wanted to unbox it as a surprise. But I guess I messed up. I'm sorry." "It's fine," I reply, forcing a smile. I'm happy and looking forward to its arrival. Despite the seemingly plausible excuse, a sense of mistrust lingers. Yet I can't confront him. I still want to believe in Brian. Later, the bag arrives, accompanied by a message card filled with affectionate comments. It should reassure me, but the slight sense of distrust persists. Months pass, life becomes accustomed to Brian's absence, and our communication through video calls becomes routine. Then, on one ordinary day, I find myself contemplating, "Wow, Brian, I should get going," I say, sensing the conversation winding down. "Yeah, it's getting colder, so be careful not to catch a cold," Linda, Brian replies, concern evident in his voice. "Thank you," I respond, ready to end the call. Just then, the doorbell rings. "What's wrong?" Brian asks. "Ah, a courier has arrived. You can hang up the call, Brian. See you later." "Thanks," I say quickly, rising from my seat and heading to the entrance. Focused on receiving the package, I don't realize I haven't ended the call or that the screen is still on. Retrieving the package, I return to my room, only to find Brian's face still on the computer screen. I guess this is the end of the call," I start to say when something unbelievable catches my eye. I instinctively cover my mouth with my hand. On the other side of Brian's desk, there's a bed, and an unknown woman sits upon it, bathrobe-clad despite the daylight. Even more shocking, the same bag I received as an anniversary present lies beneath the bed. Memories of a long-forgotten suspicion resurface. Brian had indeed brought another woman into his apartment, not just once or twice. She seems completely at ease, playing with her smartphone. You seem to be having so much fun chatting with your wife, the woman says, a mocking cackle in her voice, unaware that I'm listening. That might be true, but she's not here now, Brian replies, a grin on his face. You're such a jerk, the woman retorts. The real jerk is you, leaving your bag out in plain sight. I had to buy the same bag just to camouflage it. It was expensive, you know. That's your own fault. It's a shame that a luxury item like that is wasted on her. She has no sense of fashion. As they continue their banter, I can't bear to watch any longer. I shut down the computer, unable to put my feelings into words. Regret flooded over me. Was the bag Brian gifted me truly an anniversary present, or merely a cover-up for his infidelity? Brian, you're really the worst, I muttered, the insult escaping before I could contain it. It wasn't something I wanted to say. As for that girl, there was something familiar about her. I realized with a jolt she's the daughter of the executive vice president who joined the company this year. The audacity to whisk her away to the countryside for a clandestine rendezvous. It was quite an elaborate affair. But somehow it all made sense. I couldn't help but chuckle bitterly. It's a typical choice for an ambitious man like Brian. After all, I too am the daughter of a high-ranking executive. It seemed fitting for Brian to choose a mistress who could prove useful in some way. I couldn't believe in anything anymore. I thought he loved me for who I am. Just as I started to tire of feeling angry, an unforgiving feeling settled in. I couldn't forgive him now. So, I decided to uncover the truth. A few days after that shocking video call, Brian suggested we spend some leisure time together. Perhaps he thought it would look bad if we didn't pretend to be friendly from time to time. With a feigned eagerness, I agreed, clutching the purse he had given me. I visited the apartment he had rented. Wow, I keep it pretty clean, don't I? I'll go get us some iced tea, Brian remarked, heading towards the kitchen, unaware of my internal turmoil. I seized the opportunity and took action. Quietly, I placed the coin purse, matching my bag, inside the cupboard of Brian's computer desk. Unbeknownst to him, the coin purse contained a bug, an advanced model with exceptional battery life. It would capture sounds for several days without leaving any evidence. I assumed Brian might notice it eventually, but with his mistress owning the same model, distinguishing ownership could be tricky. Nonetheless, if he did notice, I would need to find another approach. If not, it would be a win for me. Excitement brewed within me as I anticipated the information I could gather. When the battery was close to dying, I planned to call Brian to confirm, pretending to have misplaced the coin purse. I seem to have lost the coin purse you gave me. Do you have it over there by any chance? I would inquire. Oh yeah, it was wedged in the drawer of my desk. You're so clumsy, Brian would likely respond, oblivious to the bug's presence. From his casual reply, I inferred that he hadn't opened it. Requesting its return would ensure it was back in my hands within days. Nervously, I played back the audio, and there it was, clear as day. Brian and the executive's daughter engaging in an illicit affair, their voices intimate. Armed with this evidence, I hired a private investigator to delve deeper. What he uncovered shocked me. Brian wasn't just involved with the executive's daughter, he had numerous affairs. Daughters of board members and department heads were among them. As for me, I began to see sides of Brian I never knew existed. Listening to his colleagues reveal his recent struggles with performance and increasing stress. It seemed his focus had shifted from work to networking, realizing his efforts alone were no longer sufficient. I genuinely feel sorry for him. Failing to perform at work can be a bitter pill to swallow. However, his professional struggles have nothing to do with his betrayal of me and his affairs with other women. Furthermore, it appears he's using these women as stepping stones to advance his career. It's despicable behavior, both personally and professionally. As I delved deeper into my investigation, my feelings for Brian quickly cooled, replaced by a growing sense of vengeance. He wounded my pride deeply. Brian's work assignment away from home ended sooner than expected. Less than a year later, he returned home, and to celebrate his return, I arranged a party with both our parents, complete with a lavish feast delivered to our door. The atmosphere was jovial with lively music playing and just family around. Then the music's vibe changed and I heard my own voice echoing from the speakers. Brian's conversations with the executive's daughter, synced to the music player, filled the house. Brian turned pale, confused, and flustered. "What's this, Linda?" he stammered. I had already briefed my parents about the situation, But Brian's parents were in a state of panic upon hearing their son's voice intertwined with a woman's they didn't recognize. They confronted him, demanding answers. "Brian, what's the meaning of this? Surely, you're not cheating on Linda?" They pressed, their voices laced with concern. I played the audio recordings of Brian's conversations with the other woman, obtained with the help of the investigator. Finally, Brian realized that I knew about his affairs. "Linda, you knew everything, didn't you?" He trembled, turning to me with a question, his face pale. Despite his fear, I smiled. "Why not consider marrying the CEO's daughter next? That'll land you the CEO position in a snap," I suggested, a bitter edge to my tone. Brian's face fell, his despair evident. "You also prefer a successful man on the fast track to promotion, right? It was a necessary step for my career. Please overlook it," he pleaded, clinging to me. "But what about us? Is our marriage just a step towards your success?" I challenged, my voice tinged with hurt. "No, that's not it at all," Brian insisted, though his words seemed forced. "You're special." Despite his reassurances, Brian appeared flustered. My father stepped in, his gaze piercing. "Brian, did you approach my daughter to take advantage of my position? Tell us the truth." Brian hesitated before confessing. "Initially, it was about getting ahead. Even though other women were merely tools for my advancement, I am truly serious about Linda. I promise I won't cheat again. Please forgive me this time. I want a chance to make it right." It was difficult to discern if he was lying or telling the truth. After such blatant infidelity, even when he claimed I was special, trust was hard to come by. "It's not my place to decide," my father continued. "It's up to Linda. But I can't accept you as my son-in-law. I despise you." Even Brian's own parents, doubtful of their son's honesty, expressed their disappointment. "We want to believe in you, but it's hard to believe that Linda is truly special to you," they admitted. My father's words stung, but it was clear that the disbelief of Brian's own parents hurt him the most. Despite their opinions, the decision to trust Brian or not was mine alone. In the end, I chose honesty about my feelings. I can't trust a man who has repeatedly lied to me, deceived me, and even ridiculed me with another woman. While I value my work and appreciate professional success, I've always aimed to achieve it on my own merits. I would never stoop so low as to use someone else for my own gain. But I'm telling you that you're different. Why are you abandoning me? We're married, aren't we? If you truly cherished me, why would you give me the same handbag that you gave to the woman you're having an affair with? And on our anniversary of all times, I confronted Brian, my frustration boiling over. "Stop making a fool of me. I don't want to share a family with a lazy man who depends on others to get ahead. I want a divorce." With those words, it seemed Brian had given up. His shoulders drooped, and he began to sniffle out of frustration. He had just lost his most convenient stepping stone for his career, and it served him right. Exhausted, Brian was taken home by his parents, and it was unlikely he would ever return to our home. True to my word, I followed through with the divorce. After exposing Brian's wrongdoings to all the women involved, he was sued not only by me but also by all the women he had affairs with. Unable to pay all the settlement money, he was forced to sell all his properties and even had to take on debt. Brian would likely lose his freedom for a while, paying back his debt. He voluntarily resigned from his company, but in reality, he was practically fired. Once the rumors of his actions reached the higher-ups, it was inevitable they would be furious. With rumors spreading around the office, he probably felt uncomfortable as well. Currently, he's working in a small factory, diligently paying back his debt. His parents came to apologize and told me about his situation. As for me, I have no intentions of ever meeting him again. Of course, I received alimony from Brian. Surprisingly, when I sold the handbag, which was the same as his mistress's, I was shocked to find it fetched almost the same price as a new one because it was barely used. It felt like a little bonus. After separating from Brian, I began to contemplate what marriage really meant and what's important in life. While my work remains crucial to me, I don't discount the possibility of having a family in the future. I might use the money from selling the bag to pamper myself a bit and prepare for a new romance, as I had to work today.